20% of the interviews I've been in have given me a list of the questions they're going to ask during the interview. The other 80%, I have no idea what they're going to ask me. After having a college professor interview, I thought it would be a good idea to share bits of advice with you that can help you if you're going to apply to a faculty position. A lot of these might also help you with a regular job interview too. There is some carryover. Try and wring as much information out of the human resources people as you can. I'm borderline annoying to them, but it's for a point. I will try and ask things like, am I allowed to know how many other candidates I'm up against? If you can ask questions like these, it really helps you to better understand your odds, and to some extent, it might also help you control how much work you put into it. For instance, I would not put the same amount of work in if I was going up against 20 candidates as I would with going up against only 3 candidates. Do your research on the college. Go to the homepage, look for the About section, click it, open it, scan through it. You're going to find things like the direction of the college in the future. You're going to find things like demographics on campus. This is very valuable information that you can work into your answers, and it makes you sound well studied and that you actually did work researching the place you're applying to. When Human Resources sends you that email, go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Understand if you're going to have to present on teaching or research or both. You want to know, do they need any additional paperwork from you? Sometimes they might request additional teaching evaluations or maybe some kind of writing sample or work you've developed for one of your courses. Know what you need to bring, know the time, know where you have to be. Very important stuff. 20% of the interviews I've been in have given me a list of the questions they're going to ask during the interview. The other 80%, I have no idea what they're going to ask me. So in order to prep for these types of interviews, I go online and I look at websites with frequently asked interview questions. Things like, why do you want to work here? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do you deal with stress? It's in your best interest to come up with some generic question answers, because maybe they won't ask these specific questions, but they could ask an offshoot or a derivative of one of them, and you'll have the answer ready to go, and you'll be much more comfortable during the interview with a loaded answer in the chamber. Don't just answer questions. Give examples, real life situations that you've solved things. When you go into the interview, immediately begin to look around the room and assess your assessors. Do they look lighthearted? Do they look serious? I know sometimes it's hard to do because it's a group of many different people, but try and get the vibe. Orient your interview answers accordingly. For instance, if it's a really serious interview, try and stay focused and on task. But if it's a lighthearted group, throw in a little bit of humor now and then so maybe you stand out and seem like somebody they would want to work with. Towards the end of every interview, there's always a chance to ask questions. Use this time to ask questions. Ask the committee what kind of challenges they face on a daily basis. Another great question, it's a little bold, but you could even ask them, why did the last person leave? This is critical information that might tell you if this is the right place or the wrong place to be working at. Do your best when things go wrong. For instance, yesterday, I was in an interview where Human Resources told me I had 20 minutes for my presentation, and when I got into the committee, they told me I had 10. This is just one example. I've had technology problems, I've had internet connection problems, I've had delays where the committee was late to meet. Just do your best, adapt, and overcome. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Make sure to go over it. Make sure you know it front and back. Make sure you know it like the back of the hand, because the more comfortable you are with your presentation, the better you look in front of the selection committee. Try and do something in your presentation that gives it pop. Makes it memorable. Memorable in a good way. Maybe throw in a joke. Maybe throw in an interesting fact. Something that'll make you stand out from the crowd. This last one is, in my opinion, the most important. When you finish an interview, whether it is an utter disaster or a complete success. Take time to reward yourself. Interview preparation is so exhausting and mentally draining. Treat yourself because you put all that hard work in. Maybe treat yourself to a beverage. I deserve that. I just finished an interview yesterday.